So there's the actual mountain called Mont-Saint-Hilaire, which is what this town is named after. Yeah, there it is, beautiful. Nice slopes and some beautiful summits up there as well. And a very good evening, everybody. It is indeed Monday, July 28th, 2025. It is 6:28 p.m. Eastern Canadian time. And we are indeed here in Mont-Saint-Hilaire in the Saint-Jean-sur-Richelieu Valley, I believe it's called, south of Montreal. Montreal would be more or less in this direction, just to orientate you guys. So this is sort of northeast this way. And like I said, Montreal is more this way, I guess northwest, west. Not sure exactly of the directions. It's a bit interesting based on the geography of the area, what's north, south, east, west. But anyways, we are generally south of Montreal right now, here in Mont-Saint-Hilaire, which translates to Mount Saint Hilaire. And yeah, I decided, well, you've probably seen the opening of this video. That was indeed the mountain that this town is named after, Mount Saint Hilaire. And I'm going to be walking now to the Mont Saint Hilaire train station. And I'm going to be taking this main street here. I'm going to check the name in a moment. But indeed, this is the Richelieu River. So this is the Richelieu River. Another area around here is Saint-Jean-sur-Richelieu, Chambly, and you guys maybe remember when I did my video of the solar eclipse, that's where I filmed it from, Chambly. And there's probably the main church here, Mont Saint Hilaire. We'll probably get a couple more views of the actual mountain itself shortly here. And I'm not sure of the street sign here. Probably going to cross over. Probably safer, I don't see a sidewalk here. But we do have a crosswalk coming up. So you guys are probably going to see here as we do this walking video, some old buildings, old architecture, you name it. This looks like a bagel place. And yeah, we're going to walk through the street here on this main street. And if you look up, this is the way I came from. I was trying to get the last train back to Montreal, but I'll probably take the 200 bus back, which is fine. And there's the church right there, the main church here, I believe. And there in the distance is one of the slopes and summits of Mont-Saint-Hilaire, the actual mountain itself. So we're going to be walking down this street here to Mont-Saint-Hilaire train station, where I'm going to grab the 200 bus, XO 200, take me to Terminus Longueuil. So the name of this church here, if you don't see it, it's simply Saint Hilaire Church. And the reason I came here actually was quite simple. I was actually, because I was chosen as a tester for the Chrono Virtual Fares app, I decided to try out an ABC ticket here, and couldn't decide today where to take the ABC ticket to, and well, decided why not just decided at the last minute, get on the Saint Hilaire, Mont Saint Hilaire XO train. And I did a live stream actually of that train ride, which was kind of interesting. Apparently the audio was distorted. I didn't exactly know what was happening, and then I checked the replay later, and yeah, my voice was really distorted. So I'm not sure what was happening there. My theory is, well, the signal here is not the greatest out here in the suburbs, especially when you're on the train tracks. Now, I want to mention Mont-Saint-Hilaire, the actual mountain. You can climb that mountain. It is it's not that hard. There's a trail, there's actually a couple of trails up there. I remember I climbed it a few times. Probably the last time was maybe 5 to 10 years ago. I'm going to go back again. Probably do a video of it one day. I'm going to probably wait till fall when it's cooler. And anyways, there's a few summits there. I think there's the Sugar Summit. I remember there was the Sugar Summit. Can't remember the other ones, but anyways, it's a nice little walk. So the street here, I'm going to see what we're on in a minute here. This is St. Henry Street. Notice though the houses, the buildings, very reminiscent of those old towns. Look at the buildings here. Very reminiscent of what you would see in old towns, which is this one. So the name of this street that we're walking on, Chemin des Patriots. So Patriots Road, basically. Patriots Road. And there you go, looking back. So you can see here, a lot of these buildings go back to, what is this here? 1930s, 20s. Very old buildings. It's good that they preserve that. 1900s, 1905. Hopefully you guys can see that. If you want to pause the video, I hope you can read that. But it's in French. But nonetheless, basically, you know, this is an old town, like many old towns in Quebec and Canada. Has a very rich history to it. Oh, there's an EXO bus right there. It's a mid bus, it's called a midi bus. Not mini, but midi, as in middle. There's an interesting pink house. Yeah, so this is, like I said, really reminiscent of, like, for example, Saint Anne de Bellevue, Senville, Point Claire Village, you know, you name it. Very old architecture. There's a nice view of the mountain there. Another nice view. And there's the logo for the town. You guys can see there's an apple and a sun and river and a mountain. There's two, it's technically one mountain, I think, Mont-Saint-Hilaire. But it has two slopes or two summits on it. So nice logo that they have for the town here. And of course, it's worth mentioning that they put an apple on there fittingly, because this is definitely a place to come apple picking. Whether it's the Montérégie, Saint-Jean-sur-Richelieu, these places are known for their apple orchards. Very famous for their apples. Yeah, so it's probably why they incorporated an actual apple into the town logo. Another old house. You can see it has sort of a Victorian look to it. You probably see something like this as well in New Orleans, Louisiana. Also sort of a French style as well. I'm gonna try to get to a quieter street here soon, guys. Got a nice little brook here, a little stream flowing into the Richelieu River. So anyways, yeah, it was a nice train ride here. You got the Canadian flag, national Canadian flag, the Quebec provincial flag right there as well. So it's sort of a spur of the moment idea to come here today, and I'm glad I did. The only problem is the heat right now is not really pleasant. The heat, the humidity, the you know, not exactly something I enjoy. There's a beautiful fountain. I'll tell you, if I didn't have Mont-Saint-Hilaire as my thumbnail, I'd probably choose that. But anyways, so I'm going to try to get to a side street here and make my way to, like I said, Mont-Saint-Hilaire station. And I missed the last train back to Montreal, which actually is departing in 3 minutes. But that's fine because I'll probably get to film a nice EXO bus ride. I know Ryan Hector was asking me to do that. We'll see if I film it. I don't know. I mean, I might just take a break from filming for a bit. We'll see. There's a nice barnyard or barn type building, farm type building. You can see that look to it. So I'll be checking the map here in a moment because I want to see if I can take a quieter street there. If you know me, I don't like loud streets. And probably you as the viewer don't like it that much either, or at least not too much. So I'm going to check the map here in a minute or two. And the Richelieu River, I believe, could be wrong, but I think it goes right into the US. Is it Lake Champlain? I could be wrong. I don't know. Another EXO mini bus. Definitely have to appreciate the architecture here. You got to appreciate the history of the architecture of the buildings. So walking from Mont-Saint-Hilaire train station to where I started the video is approximately 30 to 35 minutes. So walking back, I assume, is probably going to be around the same. Really picturesque area. If it wasn't for such a busy road, it would be even more picturesque. Even the river, there's so many boats and stuff, but managed to start the video at a calmer, tranquiler, more moment. I guess you could say a more tranquil moment. Oh, that's hot, I tell you. This looks like a newer house. So, next street here, I'm going to pause the video and see how far I am from the train station and what the more quieter route would be to get to the train station. So, pause the video here in a moment. And resume the video. Well, for you guys, it won't even be a second, so let me check the map here. Alright guys, so we're in luck. Not this street, but the next street. If I turn right, we're going to end up on this nice trail that's parallel to the Mont-Saint-Hilaire train line. And it looks like a nice nature trail. I haven't been there yet. I was on the other side of the tracks on the way here, taking streets. But this looks like it's a trail. According to the map, it's a nice trail. Just parallel on the left side of the tracks. And I believe this train line, maybe we'll even see a train or two, I don't know. This train line that we're going to be going there actually goes all the way to Quebec City and further east. I think it goes to the Maritimes. So we may see some via rail trains, who knows. This house is under construction. So we're going to take this side street here, and at the end of this street is where we should get to our trail. So one more look there at the Richelieu River as the sun slowly sets. So we'll turn up here on Rue des Arabes, Maple Street, I think that's what it translates to. And it's going to be nice here because we're going to be walking right towards the mountain. Look at that. This is the thing I hate about suburbia. There's never any sidewalks on the side streets. It's really frustrating. So, and you know, hopefully as time goes on, they will add them to these types of areas. This is actually nice because the lighting right now is like sort of, the sun's against us, so it's projecting everything in front of us, all the grass and stuff. So already it's more tranquil. So at the end of this street here is probably where the trail is. That's going to lead back to the station, which is where I'll catch the bus. There you can see down the street, that's probably where the trail is. And the mountain is right there, look at that. Now for the viewers out there that aren't familiar, you know, when it comes to the geography of these areas, the mountains and whatnot here are very few and sort of far between. This is sort of a flat area that we're in. Now we have Montreal, which is smaller than this one in Montreal. And of course we have this one here, Mont-Saint-Hilaire. We also have Mont Saint-Bruno, Mont Saint-Gregoire, a few others. But relatively speaking, this is a very flat area. Now if you go north, a little bit past Saint Jerome, that's when you get to really the mountainous area. We have Mont Tremblant. But the Laurentians, it's very mountainy. But, and I think, could be wrong, but yeah, also once you get south into New York State, you have the Adirondack Mountains, they're called. Adirondack. And that's mountainy as well. But the Ottawa Valley, St. Lawrence Valley, I think it's flat because it used to be a big sea. It's actually full of water at one point. If you look at historical maps of the world, it was all a big sea, flooded. Big ocean, a big sea, all connected to the ocean. And yeah, I guess the waters receded and eventually we got this. So we are going up a hill here. You can't really tell, but it is on a slope. So I'm definitely getting my workout here. Looks like in this area these are compost. Oh, there's the Mont-Saint-Hilaire train right there, guys. That's the one coming from Montreal. That's what we just heard. Yeah, so imagine in the fall here, the autumn, how beautiful this place is. You can tell these are some old trees. So yes, this is the Richelieu Valley. And I don't know if it counts as the Montérégie. I think the Montérégie actually is anything south of the St. Lawrence River, near the Montreal area, anything south of that area, up until the Quebec border. Now they had some pretty intense flooding here about maybe a decade or two ago. The Richelieu River flooded, and I think Saint-Jean-sur-Richelieu and Chambly got a lot of flooding. Oh, there's the Via Rail train there, guys. See it? Sort of. That's probably the ocean train, guys. That's the one that's probably coming from the Maritimes. Oh, it has to be for sure. That's the ocean train, guys. That's awesome. What a catch. Haha, yeah, man. The ocean train. Yeah, that's coming from the Maritimes for sure, from Halifax. I'm sure. You can tell just by the length of it. But I also had the dome cars, which makes it really scenic. So that was the ocean train. Passes, I guess, from Halifax through Rimouski, Quebec City, Saint Foy, whatever, Saint Foy, through here and right into Montreal. So the trail is almost here. So I was making sort of a joke earlier, you know. Haven't been doing any videos on the ground lately. Been doing a lot of videos from the air using my drone, my DJI mini drone 4K. So had to do a little bit of land videos here. So here's the trail. And I believe, yeah, we're going to be going on the left here. This goes right to Mont-Saint-Hilaire train station. So now we are more in the wilderness, so to speak. Yeah. Would be nice to bike here someday from Montreal. Mind you, I did do a bike ride once from Montreal to, where was it? Saint-Jean-sur-Richelieu. Actually biked from Montreal to Saint-Jean-sur-Richelieu once. That was a nice little bike ride. That's going back when? 2008, 9, 10? Well, it was the year that the flooding happened, actually. So I wanted to bike to check out the flooding. And of course, back then I didn't have a smartphone like this one where I had a map and GPS. So I had to rely on an old-fashioned map. And as I got to Saint-Jean-sur-Richelieu, I couldn't see the river. I couldn't see anything. And I turned back. Unfortunately, I was like, what's happening? Where's the river? Remember, I didn't have a map on my phone back then. Didn't even have a camera. It was just a bike ride I wanted to take to check it out. No YouTube channel, nothing like that. And I get there and there's no water, there's no flooding, no river. Like, where's the river? And I come back home and I check the map and I realize where I turned back, if I had gone just a little bit further, I would have seen the river. So I had assumed that where I was either in the wrong area, I was lost. But in fact, if I had just continued a few more minutes on my bike, I would have gotten to see the river and the flooding. So this goes to show you what life was like back then without GPS and maps on your phone and all this other fancy stuff, you know. So I'm not sure how long we are until we get to the train station. Probably another 10. I'm gonna estimate 10 minutes. So when we get there, I'm gonna have to wait for the 200 EXO bus. I'm not sure what kind of bus. I'm assuming it'll be a Nova bus, maybe. So you can see here, this is probably a little bit newer, slightly newer than what we saw earlier in the video, but still probably old houses. This is Rue de Beaujeu Street. Yeah, so we are sort of more elevated. We are more elevated than when we started the video. So the trail is going to continue here in a moment. And I'm just going to pause the video here until we get right over here, and then I'll resume it. Just going to catch my breath for a little bit. Alright, so while I was taking a mini break there, I checked the map, and indeed, the train station is 10 minutes away, exactly 10 minutes. So this is what I like, being right in the middle of nature and surrounded by trees and greenery. So I don't know if any of my viewers actually live in the Mont-Saint-Hilaire area. Could very possibly be that some of you do. Of course, I know you guys are everywhere. Not just in Montreal, not just around Montreal, not just around Quebec, not just around Canada, but throughout the world, scattered around. So that's pretty cool. So as I've said so many times, you know, this is the point of my channel, is to, even in my video, in my channel description rather, I stated that one of the main pillars, the main mission, the main missions of my channel is to show you the world through my eyes, to document and sort of give you a virtual behind the scenes, you know, sort of tours and whatnot of all these different areas, and walking videos and whatnot, and transit. And yeah, this is something I enjoy doing. You know, look, I'm out here getting exercise. I'm out here in nature, I'm enjoying myself. And at the same time, why not also document this for you guys? This is why I made my YouTube channel. This is one of the reasons why. So, you know, it's win-win. And of course, for those of you out there that have been with me since the beginning of my channel back in 2015, December 2015, you'll notice that in some ways my channel has evolved quite a bit, but in many ways it has remained the same. So I like that fact, you know. I like to keep it traditional and also like to make changes. For example, I continue to do nature walks and transit videos, but now I've introduced, for example, the drone videos from views from the air. So my channel is always evolving, but at the same time, you know, keeping with those traditional values of documenting and showing you the world through my eyes. So that'll always remain the same. And of course, there's also the fact that it's no secret that I am a public transit advocate. I'm very pro public transit, pro bicycle, pro walking. No secret that I am anti-car. I think too many people are addicted to their cars. That being said, there is a responsibility to fund public transit more so that people don't have to rely on their vehicles as much. So, got some nice berries here. Anyway, I went on a little tangent there, but point being, I enjoy doing this. You know, this was a spur of the moment thing, and I'm glad I got to come out here to Mont-Saint-Hilaire. So the station's coming up. That's where I'm going to wrap up the video. Probably like 2 minutes away now. And let's see when that XO 200 bus comes, and take that to Longueuil Terminus, right beside Longueuil Metro Station. No, it technically is Longueuil Metro Station. Beautiful, lush scenery. Can't believe that's actually going to be August within a couple of days. It's amazing. So, but of course, August is always warm, especially in modern times. August is very warm and above average in terms of temperatures. Beautiful. Yeah, so I can see the area where the train station is coming up here. So hopefully you enjoyed this little walk that I did here, and sort of from the river, not to the mountain, but close enough to the mountain. Maybe we'll see it again here in a minute from the train station. By the way, if you're wondering right now, temperature outside, I'd probably say it's about 32 degrees Celsius with the humidity heat index. Can't see, but the train tracks are right there. We got a rabbit. Look at this. Beautiful, beautiful. And of course, there's that rabbit called Cleo, named Cleo, that always visits Base Guy, aka Jack, in St. Anne de Bellevue. And another thing I want to try to do more on my channel is walking videos without yapping. Just walking and enjoying the view. I think I'm going to try to focus on those as well more often. Alright, I think the train station is going to be on our right side here. There it is, straight ahead. You see that old-fashioned train station light clock on it. Not sure if it's working or not. But yeah, I'll wrap it up at the train station here, guys. So again, if you guys like what you see, definitely hit the like button, subscribe. Also share my channel if you know anybody that maybe is into walking videos and nature and public transit and the environment and that kind of stuff. Spread the word. Might as well show you guys the train station. It's my first time taking a train here to Mont-Saint-Hilaire. Taken the bus here before. As I said, I climbed that mountain a few times, but never took the train. Yeah, we got beautiful butterflies out tonight, this evening. Another view of the mountain coming into sight here. And when I finish this video here, I'll have to check where exactly I get that bus from, the 200. Or maybe there's even other buses around here, I don't know. Alright, so what are we? 7 o'clock, 7 p.m. right on the nose. That clock is indeed working. It is indeed working, so pretty cool. So there's Mont-Saint-Hilaire station. There's an overpass right there. That's where I started. Well, when I got off the train, I was actually doing a live stream earlier, as I mentioned. That's where I wrapped it up, right over there inside. And I walked on the streets all the way to where I started the video. So I did a nice little loop here. I'll show you guys the tracks. And there's a trail that we're on right here. Here's the little trail that we're on. So not sure what's in here. Maybe a community center or something. So yeah, I don't know how old this train station is, but there it is. And I'll show you the tracks and I'll show you the mountain one more time. A really beautiful view of the mountain from the train station itself. There we go, guys. Mont-Saint-Hilaire train station, we made it. Alright, thanks for watching, everybody. Have a good night and more videos to come.